Hello, I'm Liz, one of the volunteers at Bannockburn House. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the blue bonnets that are handcrafted there and why we make them. For hundreds of years, Scotsmen wore a blue bonnet. Up until the end of the 18th century, it was the most identifiable piece of Scottish clothing until tartan was popularised. I'll take you through the process from beginning to end without giving away all our trade secrets. All you need to make a blue bonnet is here on the table. We knit them from the top down in one piece using thick blue wool, wooden pins and a circular needle later on. 100% wool is necessary, otherwise the bonnet can't be felted. Light blue was the most common colour, but they were also made in grey, dark green and black. Dark blue was a symbol of status, as more dye was used to achieve the colour. The lace on the table is for threading through the rim of the bonnet so that you can adjust its size. It's time now to transfer from the wooden pins to our circular needle. The top of the bonnet is now taking shape. You can see it much better on the circular pin. That is probably big enough now for the top of the bonnet. Now we can start the decreases to form the brim. Trying to judge how many rows to do is quite difficult because the felting process is going to cause the garment to shrink. So you need to make it bigger than you think you'll need to allow for that shrinkage. You can of course knit a sample swatch and felt it first of all and calculate the amount of shrinkage you get. Sometimes it's trial and error, and it's taken me quite a while to find a formula that works. The decreases are well and truly underway now, and as you can see, I've moved back to using 4 pins. The hat, if you can call it that at this stage, looks more like a jelly bag, but we're getting close to the point where we can start the headband. We're almost at the end of the knitting stage. After this, I'm going to start to cast off. I make the band in stocking stitch. It can be made in rib, but I prefer the look of the stocking stitch band. At the end of this row, you will see a little bit of yellow wool. That's just my way of marking the end of each row. Now we start to cast off, or bind off as they say in America. I'll go all the way around the garment until it's free from the needles. There we are, one completed hat. Bit big, have to do something about it. The headband is now pinned into place, and all we have to do is sew round about it, leaving a gap so that we can have a space to thread the lace through. Headband sewn, and we're now ready to start the felting process, which will shrink the bonnet to about 75% of its current size. It'll take about 24 hours for the bonnets now to dry on the pulley. Here is the top of the bonnet after it has been felted. As you can see, the fibres have mixed together and matted, and the surface is quite fluffy. If I turn it over, again you can see the hairiness of the fibres, and as I said before, it has shrunk to about 3/4 of its original size. If you want to make it more waterproof, you can repeat the process. The old-fashioned way of felting something was to dip it in and out of hot water with a little bit of washing up liquid and give it a good bashing. However, I use the washing machine and put an old shoe in with the hats, and at the end of an hour they come out well felted. Here we have the finished bonnet, ready to wear. I'm wearing a small size. Some people suggest that you should just make them one size and use the drawstring to alter the size, but it can mean that a large bonnet gathered together on a small head has got too much extra fabric. We make these bonnets in small, medium and large, which some people would say is not very authentic. It should just be one size fits all, and with the use of the drawstring, any head size can be accommodated. However, what's authentic? The original breed of sheep that supplied the wool doesn't exist any longer. I doubt if anyone goes out and finds some bits of wood, sharpens them, sands them, oils them and makes them into pins. I haven't grown woad and made my own blue dye. People knit at different tensions. Throughout the country, there must have been lots of variations on the blue bonnet. In the Lowlands, for example, people favoured a very wide brim, whereas in the Highlands, a smaller, neater bonnet was favoured. Our bonnets come complete with a white cockade. Bannockburn House is, after all, a Jacobite house. During the 45 rebellion, Bonnie Prince Charlie was garrisoned there during the siege of Falkirk. And it was there too that he met Clementina Walkinshaw, who later became his mistress and bore him a daughter, Charlotte. Although illegitimate, Charlotte was recognised by her father and made Duchess of Albany. The white cockade refers back to the time when Bonnie Prince Charlie, on landing in Scotland, picked a white rose, Rosa alba maxima, and pinned it to his bonnet. In summertime, of course, you can use a fresh rose if you so desire. All in all, these bonnets have taken at least 8 to 9 hours of knitting, plus the felting and the making of the cockade. We know the price is not cheap, but if you consider the minimum wage, it's a bargain at the price.
Oh, the blue bonnets are over the border, march, march, in trick and Teviotdale. Why, my lads, till you march forward and order,